love scaling, right? Scaling equals growth, but we have to do it smart, right? There has to be some strategy behind it, and there has to be a methodology in place to make it where it doesn't create mayhem.
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
How? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes.
Right now, while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
We took our notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies led Craig and I to selling more than $10 million in premium in the last 2 years.
On this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the same results.
Just go to live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
If you jump on this call with us, we're certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.
Hello, it is Craig Pretzinger, and this is another Agency Playbook. Welcome to the Insurance Dudes podcast, and we are going to be talking a little bit about capacity. This is something that comes up a lot in production businesses, but really applies to every business because where there is excess capacity, there is inefficiency, and where there is overcapacity, where there's too much opportunity coming in for that person to be able to handle, probably a good problem to have, right? Too many leads and not able to get to them quickly enough. Now we are in an overcapacity. We have a bottleneck, and then it's time to look to scale. So for anybody that is a P&C agent, it is looking to scale, and that's the name of the game these days, right? If we're getting squeezed, a lot of carriers have been squeezing commissions lately just to keep up, to be able to stay competitive. It is what it is. I'm not going to go off on that because, again, uncontrollable inputs, right? That's not something I can control. So whatever, I have to adjust. So love scaling, right? Scaling equals growth, but we have to do it smart, right? There has to be some strategy behind it, and there has to be a methodology in place to make it where it doesn't create mayhem when we begin to scale. So we have to have all of our processes in place before we really push. So we say this a lot with folks when they become members of Teledudes and insert the caller in their agency, do all of these things and start following what we have on that checklist, which you can get on the idudes.com, www.theidudes.com. Download that checklist, has every single step of the Telefunnel and how to do it yourself. So what we see is when we have folks that are following that process internally here at Teledudes and looking to scale, let me back up. A lot of folks will, and myself included, want results in a unrealistic time period, right? It's usually we are motivated by fear and pain. So we have some reason that we begin to search for an alternative marketing strategy. This has happened to me, right? Where I'm not getting results. Maybe management is saying, hey, what are you doing over there? Or I just realize, cash flow is a little tight here. We really need to step it up. And a lot of times we get into that situation. Now we're really have our backs against the wall because we don't have as much to work with, right? So now we could be getting into this place of scarcity where we're very concerned about every dollar and oh no, we can't have it waste. So then it becomes, if I screw this up, if this doesn't work, I'm dead, and too much pressure, right? So it's important to start slow with any marketing strategy, give it enough time, learn it all, get it dialed in, no pun intended, in your agency, and then scale, right? Once it's working. So with the folks that start with Teledudes, anyone who hasn't had leads experience or telemarketers in their agency or anybody transferring calls like that, we will normally advise that somebody starts with just one. Just get one, get the process down. And you're going to be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 50 leads a day for that one, and the right phone system, all of the things. But there's a lot to learn at the beginning, and you won't have that person at capacity unless you're buying too many leads, right, at that moment. So the key, right, to finding that capacity, identify that it's an opportunity to scale, and then continue to do that over and over becomes after the learning process, right? Get the learning curve, get the results. Once we have that producer or those producers saying, hey, we need more, right? If they say we need more, then we got to push, right? And they get it, and they're starting to get results, then we're going to add more leads, add more telemarketer. If we get into the point where they have too many, right? But they get it, then again, we're going to add more, because now we're going to add more on the producer side. So depending on which side of the equation the capacity is at, is where we're going to make that decision. Once we have an understanding of our marketing program, we see that it's performing, and this takes 30 to 60 days to really have good insight, and then we push. So again, identify the capacity issue. Where is it? Is it working aside from that capacity piece? Meaning, is the funnel working? Are we getting enough dials? Or do we have an acceptable contact rate? Are there enough transfers coming from that? About 10%. Are we getting about 5 to 10% of the contacts turning into quoted households? And then we're going to look at optimizing our sales process by looking at the closing rate, right? And then comparing to the market. So I know that's a lot of stuff there, but this is the way that you can strategically scale. A way that I think is less effective and potentially more risky and can lead to pitfalls in that you could end up not having results, ejecting, and very well killing the thing that would have been the saving marketing strategy, is to get too many telemarketers, too many leads off the bat, and not have an understanding of the entire telefunnel, and then just becoming overwhelmed and having it go sideways and way too much spend. And that is absolutely what we don't want, right? Again, there's an acceptable level of spend for each unit of telefunnel production. So one telemarketer pushing 25 to 50 leads over to 1 or 2 salespeople is okay. But as they fill up, again, it's identify when we need that extra, another telemarketer, more leads, or when we need another producer to take all that activity that's coming in, right? And we have to look at it holistically, not just one telemarketer and getting X number of transfers, but also how many callbacks are happening. Are the producers quoting those callbacks? What are we doing about failed transfers, right? We tried to transfer it, the person hung up. Is that being called back? What about quoted? Who's calling quoted? So there's a lot to take into account and a lot to think about. So I'm going to stop it there with your head swimming with a bunch of numbers, and I'm going to send you over to www.theidudes.com where you can download that checklist. If you have questions about it, you can hit up Miguel at theidudes.com. He's happy to answer any questions. Also on that page, there is a little chat feature. So if you do want to talk to somebody right away, click that and put your info in, and it will, I think it texts him right away, and you'll be good to go. Aside from that, we are grateful that you're here. Love to get you that checklist so that you can really dive in and start making it happen so that you can finish this year strong and create momentum going into the new one. So take care. And that is another Agency Playbook. Hey, what are you still doing here?
Well, while you're still here and while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
Yeah, if you weren't listening before, we took notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies did help Craig and I write over $10 million in premium in the last couple years.
And let me tell you, on this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the very same results.
Again, that's live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
And if you jump on with us, we are certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.